So this, of course, means it's our our sci-fi game, Espergenesis, here on Dire Adventuring Company. I'm your GM for the evening, Jason, from over at the Nerd Eternal Network. And joining me as usual will be Sarah playing Kat, Eric playing Adrian, Decca playing Armanto. Right. Great! I'm so excited about remembering how to pronounce his name that who was that? Oh yes, Zach playing Francis, and joining us shortly should be Patrick to reprise his role as Hull. Now, last week you started off by questioning and cutting deals with the hunter, who you had defeated on his, secret trap moon hunting sanctuary. I don't know what you'd call it. Somewhere where he was luring crews of people and then hunting them. So deals were made for information. You have an agreement with him that you can contact him again later, provided that you don't finger him as the source of your information. He has a reputation he wants to uphold, or he doesn't care about upholding the reputation. He doesn't want anybody to know that he's been a stoolie. Believe after that you traveled back to Casparilla, or the station above Casparilla, and had dinner with Achille, where you essentially told him, what was it you essentially told him? That you had gotten coordinates out of the cave, that it had taken you to they had taken you to the shortcut, but that you hadn't found anything there.
That'd be correct.
Ah, there's Patrick. Trying to think.
Now I'm just bummed because Kat missed fancy dinner.
Yes. Achilles' butler, manservant, I'm not sure what you'd call him. Basil always puts on a good meal. Maybe Kat was too busy. Maybe Kat was there and just too busy stuffing her face to talk.
Armanto was starstruck the entire time.
Oh yes, this was the first time Armanto had met Achilles, and of course he'd recognized the ship earlier, and he recognizes Achilles. He fanboyed out, was terribly unprofessional.
Yeah, well, nothing in his contract says he has to be professional.
I'm not sure you even signed a contract yet.
Exactly.
Alright. So we ended there with you eventually heading back to your ship. Somebody's breathing very heavy into the mic. Let's see. There had been a few times during the meal when you had said something that you're not sure if Achilles was buying it. But he never tried to call you on anything. I forget who it was that kept trying to...
About not finding anything at the coordinates.
Yeah, that's it.
I think we all said something a little that way. It's just to suffer that for us, charisma was kind of the ignore stat.
And here I am now with expertise in both persuasion and deception.
I think somebody commented that you were probably the one that should have been doing the
that was
lying,
me.
but
That was me, but she wasn't here that day, so we just had to go without her.
I was getting my butt kicked at bingo by geriatrics.
So all the brutes got to do the talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good at deception. It's just that was a really bad roll.
You're just not good at the rolling.
I'm not good at rolling either, so it might have been about the same.
So anyway, you're headed back to the ship. Achilles basically told you he doesn't have any more leads at the moment. he's going to keep poking around and asking folks and, seeing what he can come up with. He'll contact you when he finds something he needs you to investigate. Maybe on the plus side, if you haven't found anything, maybe the folks chasing you maybe they'll calm down a little bit.
Maybe.
And you may have noticed going into his, into his home, some extra security measures have been added. Most of them wouldn't be real blatant, but you might have noticed some work had been done. Since he knows people are after him, or opposing him at least.
Do we want to maybe check up, just send a note to the professor that we had do the translations? Like, hey, how's it going? You alive?
Nope, we haven't done that yet.
Okay, well, you know how to access the kind of dead drop system you've come up with.
Yeah. Well, do we want to do it or just eh?
Our motto has 0 context, so
Yeah.
it's been on a very need-to-know basis. It's kind of annoying him.
Let's say the other thing that we kind of stopped on was the loot.
Right, you had not divvied. I had given you all the loot, but you had not divvied it up, I don't think.
No, we have not.
And I think one of y'all was writing it down. Gotta hope so. I mean, I could dig through and find the stuff, but
I have full stop lost my notebook, so
Okay, just
yeah.
The big kahuna was
no. Okay, we got a +1 sniper rifle.
Patrick
yes,
was a
the
note
big,
taker. Okay.
the big kahuna was this +1 sniper rifle.
No, this is me largely going by memory.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there was a +1 sniper rifle. There was an infiltration suit.
Yeah.
There was his weird cloak.
Aramonto has a weird cloak.
That's right. Not weird like it was, infused with Esper powers or anything, but
It's like leafy.
Like a ghillie suit cloak.
sort of.
Yeah.
The individual sections of the cloak were leaf-shaped. It would give you advantage on stealth checks in a wooded environment.
Works for me.
Cloak of elven kind for space.
Sort of, but
Space open.
nothing. Well, then again, I can't remember. Are cloaks of elven kind actually magical?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, they are.
Well, this one is not forged, as they call it in this city or anything. It's just it's like a ghillie suit would give you, that kind of advantage.
He's been wearing it and strutting in it the whole time.
Like fancy dress and the leaf cloak.
Doesn't care about the infiltration suit. His stuff is better.
I was looking to see what the infiltration suit is. I'm just
It's the
scrolling through book.
it's the better.
I think
I think it's the best, basically, of your light armors.
Yeah.
He had
It's
a
the
high,
best
Hunter
light
had a high deck, so he didn't want anything that would hinder that.
Oh, point of order. I also have the hunting question mark rifle from one of the hunter parties from the session before that. When I disarmed the cat.
Oh yeah, you kept Marrow's gun.
Yes.
I believe that was a regular sniper rifle. Oh no. No. Marrow did not have a sniper rifle. He had one of the little. Can't remember if they were assault rifles or exactly what it was.
I'll search the document as long as you tell me what.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if the stats for him were in this book or if it was in the.
I remembered having it, and I was like, why not use it during any of the fights? I'm pretty sure I'm proficient in it.
Because you wallop people with your sword. It's what you do.
I mean, yeah, and I'm going to, but I have backup.
Marrow, page 169. Ah, that's right. I used the mercenary stats for them. It is a short rifle. Does a D8 plus, well, plus 2 for him because that's his dex. So it does a D8 of damage plus your dex. Let's see. One target. Range is 70 feet / 210 feet. He also had a long blade, but that's, basically a long sword compared to the great one you already packed.
I also have a long blade anyway.
Let's see. And then one of the hunters was basically a sniper, and yeah, he had the baseline sniper rifle. He just had an ability that gave him extra dice of damage with it. Let's see. Because there had been some debate as to who was going to get the sniper rifle.
I actually vote Cat. Just because it stacks really, really well with Adept Strike? Deft Strike.
Death Strike for her, yeah.
Okay, she will happily shoot things.
Congratulations, you have a +1 sniper.
Woohoo! You just throw me what page would be in our I'll look that.
Let's see.
It would be under weapons as a sniper rifle and just add +1 to the attack and damage.
2d8.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Essentially.
So I think the plan was, as y'all were heading back to the ship, y'all were discussing what kind of, getting some kind of work. Make a little money to pass the time. But they can wait till the next day. It's not super late, but you had a late dinner with Achille, and then there was a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Because while you had to avoid certain things, you could go into a full discussions on, what happened in the cave, what happened with that primitive species that you basically forced the planetary government to acknowledge publicly. And that's been a news story. Achille was already aware of that. You filled him in on the bodyguarding mission and what happened to Danru. Covered, of course, the whole hunting expedition. Don't think you specifically mentioned... Can't remember if you specifically mentioned leaving Hunter alive or not.
I think someone made a fuss about that, yeah.
Yeah, I believe fuss.
Alright, quite possibly. Aramonto did not seem especially happy about it.
Very unhappy.
About leaving the dude alive?
Mm.
Correct.
Yeah, her cat would have been right there with him. Like, I don't like this dude at all.
And you don't know exactly what kind of deal Adrian made with him because he was speaking the Ikajadi language.
Yeah, and then she had walked off by then to go drink with the cat dude.
Yes. To drink and wrap your wounds in bandages.
Yep.
What damage is our firearms? What attack modifier do you use?
Dex or firearms.
Dex?
Yes, Dex.
Well, that sucks but okay.
That's because you're a hit him with a big sword kind of guy.
Yeah, I am.
If you shoot them at range, you don't get to see their face as they die.
Unless you've got the scope on them and you're zoomed in.
Stop telling them my backstory. I'm gonna get to it, okay?
Alright. And you make a very valid point, Sarah. Playing Borderlands, I've been zoomed in on many a face and seen the head explode. Alright, so anyway.
That'd being said, who's your favorite? Who's your plan?
Oh, the siren, of course. She has superpowers.
Or the roll just making sure it's working.
Alright, ready. Todd, on the other hand, runs around with the Beastmaster with Hit Monkey. Hit Monkey is the roughest person in our party. We do not have any doubt. His only weakness is he's all about the shooting and nothing about the looting. So we'll be looting crates and have to. We hear Hit Monkey mowing somebody down. We have to hurry up and run back over there. All right, but as you get back to the ship, Jim calls it an early evening. Let's see. Cat was there when Jim landed, or did y'all call him in last session?
No, Cat wasn't there when Jim
Okay.
landed.
Jim was kind of shook up, if I remember correctly.
Right. Basically, as soon as he had hit orbit, just to catch Cat up, as soon as he had hit orbit, after dropping y'all off, at the time, he wasn't sure if they were drones or fighters, had come in, and he had basically spent that 3 or 4 or 5 days y'all were wandering around on the planet, dodging them out in the asteroid field, you know. He'd shake them loose,
Yeah.
he'd hide for a little while, they'd find him. He was getting like maybe a half hour of sleep at a time. He was in rough shape when he landed.
I vote we take a couple days at the station then.
Well, y'all have had several days of travel time at this point.
Okay.
But he did seem shook up. A couple people noticed he seemed a little off, you know, right afterwards.
I remember noticing it, but not being able to get anything out of him.
Yeah, he was like, he didn't want to hurt it. But anyway, so he calls it early. Let's see. While y'all were traveling, I guess you would had to have given Aramanto Danru's old room. Since the ship does not have a whole lot of living space.
We have to clean it out solemnly.
Enjoy the room of our possibly dead friend.
Don't worry, he didn't possibly die in it.
I don't know that. I was gonna say he sleeps in the fuck, what's it called?
Cargo bay?
In the cockpit.
That would
Spoilers,
get
he
on
can
Jim's
fly.
nerves after a while.
Yeah, because Jim's room is actually a prison cell, but it's a private one, so he actually likes it.
Yeah, you put a curtain over the door, it's fine. He has his own toilet.
I'm kidding. I would like my own.
So, you know, when they introduce you to the room, you find a synthesizer in there. That Danru had been learning how to play.
I'll try to put it. I'll put it on it like its lowest setting and start like just quiet enough so that I can hear it. Probably no one else.
You went there.
Well, so did we when
The ship's haunted.
So did we when he first got the synthesizer.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're retiring to your rooms. Francis,
Yes, sir.
you notice you've got a message.
Oh,
You've called me now.
Truth is, the message has been sitting there in the inbox for a few days. You just hadn't thought to check it as you were heading back home.
Who's it from?
A dear friend of yours. A dear friend.
Francis fixes himself a drink, sits down, checks the mail.
It's more of a voice message kind of thing, but it's Francis, if you're there, pick up. Francis, I
Huh.
hope you're not screening your calls. Look, my dear friend, I've got a potential job for you and Jade. Really, you're that entire crew you're hanging with these days. Hit me back as soon as you get this. Don't drag your feet about it. Time is a factor. And it is, of course, from your dear friend, Smurgins. Who I think you had contacted for information not too long back.
Yes, sir. About the ship that abducted Denru.
That's right. You contacted him as y'all were leaving. What was that planet's name? Itis?
Planet Popstaria.
I think I'll go with mine.
Is it? That was a miracle name.
Well, you know, there's billions of stars, billions of planets. You're going to run out of good names fairly quickly.
Yeah. Eventually, they're just numbers.
That's Planet Bob.
Francis
Planet
calls
somewhere.
Smurgins.
Who keeps rolling?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
It's roll 20. It's chat.
Uh,
I'm typing it so that you guys can continue to roleplay. So I do stupid shit.
He answers almost immediately. Francis!
Smurgins.
So glad to see you. Or
I would also
hear
like to
from you.
say, since this is coming through a connection inside the ship, Adrian is.
Give me a perception check to see if Adrian notices.
No, I mean like he's in the system listening.
If he realizes a call's going on.
Ah, okay, that's true.
You're not going to be plugged
Actually,
into the,
no.
literally
Would
plugged in the
Fran-
system 24 hours a day.
Okay, I'll say, would Francis have told about it? I'll say that.
That's a good question. Francis, did you tell anybody that you had gotten this message before you called him back? Or do you call him back to see what it's about before you say anything?
Calling him back just to see what it's about before I tell anyone.
Okay.
Alright, then never mind. He wouldn't know.
Impulsive decisions. Yes, I like it.
Anyway, so glad to hear from you, my friend. You could have been a little quicker getting back to me.
Yeah, things were happening.
Yeah.
What do you need, Smurgins?
I saw that fight at the concert. The uncut footage. That was some fun stuff. Lopped off his head in front of teenagers. Smurgan
What
spends a
the
couple minutes.
hell is wrong with you?
Smurgan spends just a couple minutes chuckling. I don't believe for one second you didn't have a laugh about that at some point.
I mean, I was glad he was dead, but, you know, I would have preferred not to traumatize kids.
I'm sure they had their backs to him running away by that point. Yeah, I'm sure it was fine. They see it on TV all the time. Besides, it's a good lesson for them. This is what happens to stalkers.
That is inaccurate, if really screwed up. No, Smurgan, just let's cut to the chase. You left like 20 voicemails. What do you need, and how much is it paying?
Alright, well, I've got a little problem that I would like you and your crew to eliminate for me.
Oh, so he wants to kill somebody.
Probably several somebodies. Specifically, it's a pirate band, a small pirate band giving me trouble.
That sounds amazing. I really have a lot of frustrations to work out. Who are they? What's going on?
They call themselves Veracast Raiders. I assume that's the leader's name. And they have been hitting some of my shipping interests and or some of my business partners and some of my shipping interests, and just being generally an annoyance and just bad for business. Just bad for business.
So you say small. Define small. Are we talking a single ship? What size of ship? Or we're talking a small fleet?
Technically, I guess you'd say a small fleet. If you count, if you let fighters count in as a fleet. They have a couple of ships, probably the size of the one you're jetting around in currently. And then 3 or 4 are fighters. Best I can tell from the few surviving witnesses I've spoken to, or my people have spoken to, they tend to go, each of the larger ships generally go around with about half of the fighters. They do multiple missions at a time. I have been unable to learn exactly where they're based out of, but I have been able to track down a contact of theirs that lives on the Hobbs End station. Not sure if you're familiar with it. It is a lovely place for a person in my profession.
All right. What are you paying?
Pay is an interesting word here.
No. Smirkins is a businessman. He realizes he needs this done. He's going to have to pay. If they're completely eliminated, I mean, wiped off the board, as it were, I am not hiring you to assassinate anybody. Let me go, in case there's any kind of record being taken of this, in case anyone's listening in. I simply need a pirate band eliminated. If you get them all arrested, if you shoot them out of space, I don't care. But I give you, okay. Is it credits in this game?
Cubits.
Cubits, thank you. It's credits, I think it's credits, generic credits over in Starfighter. Okay. I give you 10,000 if you manage to wipe the band out.
Plus expenses. Ship repairs, ammunition, fuel.
Fuel and ammunition, fine, I'll throw that in. Ship repairs? That could potentially get fairly expensive.
I mean, I know what else is really expensive. Having your shipping lanes raided over and over again. That really racks up the bill.
Yeah, and the Defense Force won't do anything because it's way out in the boonies.
Boonies. Francis air quotes.
That little slip lets you know that it's his more black market smuggling operation that these guys are hitting. And that the Defense Force is really not concerned if the black market is if they're eating at each other. But he's like, he's got enough ships. I don't know that you'd want to go in guns blazing with your ship anyway. The contact at Hobbs End that I've discovered is something of a recruiter. I don't know what kind of investigation skills your team has got. I don't know if y'all do undercover work, or if you just want to go pummel this guy until he tells you where they're based at. I'll leave the fiddly bits up to you. I just want results. So let's say 5,000 up front, 10,000. Total of 10,000 for the job for the job, and I'll buy you fuel and your ammunition, and reasonable repairs. If you get your ship total, don't come crying to me. But if you just need some armor plates slapped on and some pieces reattached, that's okay.
All right. Let me round up the crew. I'll give you a call back.
All right, like I said,
And you'll have your answer. All right. You'll hear back quickly, Smargans. Bye. And he hangs up.
All right.
All right, screw it. And he just calls him, gets on comms, asks to meet with everyone. I think I found us a new revenue stream.
I'm just like this flying. Hey, Jim, can you get this?
Oh, sure, man. He comes back out of his room.
All right. Hey, are you good, man? Are you good? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna keep walking, but I'm gonna insight check as I'm walking.
Okay, give me a roll.
Natural 1.
And he rolled a 19. Yeah, he seems to be fine today. Maybe he's shaking it off.
Okay.
Are we all meeting in Francis's room? Just everyone piles in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
Let's see. There should be... Let me jump you all over to the map.
I'm not seeing any map.
I think we're still being
Zoom.
jumped over.
You should probably zoom out because you're... Alright, maybe I didn't put y'all on the logo page today. Maybe,
I'm on the logo page.
Yeah, I
I'm on
can
the
see the
logo.
roustabout on the logo page.
Oh.
There we go.
Because I had removed a few maps, so I thought y'all might be.
Aha.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm
Alright.
refreshing mine because it's not showing. 1 second.
So anyway, if you look on the map, those of you that can see the map, the one at
I
the
can see that.
map of the roustabout, the upper level there has got like a meeting room, dining room kind of area,
The galley!
which would probably be a
Yay.
better place for y'all to meet up than trying to all cram into one of those small rooms.
Nah,
You know.
that'd be fine and hilarious.
This is not Star Trek where everybody on the ship has got these huge, apartment style rooms.
Big living quarter spaces.
Unless we get a hold of like a battleship or something.
Oh no, we have or it's the Defiant. Look, we have tons of guns, but we have bunk beds. Deal with it.
Battle pancake.
And I think maybe Enterprise they had smaller rooms because they designed the inside of that ship kind of based off submarines to some degree, where there's not just tons and tons of space.
There's the what was it? Sci-Fi Debris had the best description of the Defiant. Why is it called the Defiant? Because Captain Sisko's motherfucking pimp hand was too long of a name for a title.
Damn.
That was a badass ship.
It was, yeah.
Yep, the first fight it got in was probably one of my favorite Star Trek moments. Oh, look, it's shooting lots of phasers, and then it cut a ship in half. What was that stream of little pellets? Oh, those were photon torpedoes. Wow. I also like that it looked like a turtle.
Didn't they get a cloaking device in later episodes?
Actually, they did.
Yep.
Yep.
That was essentially the whole. Basically, imagine if Starfleet stopped trying to do we make general purpose ships. Okay, we need a warship. What can we do? We're gonna call it an escort. It's gonna be a warship.
Yep. Okay, but back to the job. As we get on off a tangent.
Yep.
At least it was a sci-fi oriented tangent, so it kind of worked.
The tangent
Semi
is
on
now
topic.
cease.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think everyone's just arguing ships as Aramonto walks in. He's like, "What?"
tangent has now ceased. We now return to your regularly scheduled program.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a little call from a friend of mine and Jade's. He had a job offer for us. He's having a little bit of problems with a group of pirates. What were they called? Something's Raiders? You broke up a little bit.
Vercasts. Vercasts Raiders.
Vercast Raiders.
That is a lot better than what I thought I heard earlier.
Probably don't
He's
know.
offered us.
Keep going. Keep going.
He's offered us 5,000 up front, 5,000 after the job is done, plus fuel, plus expenses. He's also located a contact at Hobbs Station. You should be able to get us in touch with Burcast's Raiders.
Have I, as a bit of a drifter in my past life, heard of the Vercast Raiders?
Let's see.
Same for Cat. Or at least the station.
Alright, give me a roll.
What would you like me to-
Lore. Give me a lore roll.
What is a lore roll?
It's one of your skills. Intelligence.
Is it-
Intelligence based.
Intelligence based. Okay. I will make a note of that.
Also, shall I roll them? Since it was
Any of you
mentioned
that want to
aloud.
roll can roll to see if you recognize any of these names.
That is it's a 13.
Okay.
16.
No.
No, Cat is unfamiliar with either of these.
20.
Francis is unfamiliar with one of these. You've never heard of Vercast Raiders before. They must be new. You have, however, heard of Hobbs End Station. Adrian has also heard of Hobbs End.
Hmm.
It's not the sort of place good, decent people go. It's not really the sort of place you go by yourself if you want to leave again. Even your rougher pirate ships or rougher mercenary groups are really big on the buddy system there. It is, it's run down, virtually lawless. The organized crime of the station more or less run the thing.
That's something Armand picks up, or is that the 20?
What did Armato roll?
13.
You had probably heard of Hobbs End, that it was a rough spot, but that's about it.
I leave the slums.
Yeah, it's kind of what if the entire station were the slums. Other than one little, other than a couple of small areas that your kind of criminal elite live in.
Sure.
Well, them and the kind of token government of the place.
It's Omega Station.
From the way my friend described Varcast Raiders, getting into an upfront fight with them might be a bad idea, at least in our ship. We'd be outgunned. 2 ships about our size, plus fighters. So, how do y'all want to play this? If you even want to deal with this mess.
I do like the idea of getting.
Oh yeah, Armato hasn't gotten paid yet in this.
Aramonto is. He has a little bit of, but that's it.
Definitely not fighting them in space.
ship-to-ship combat would be a tactically ill-advised choice.
Yeah, definitely. And if they make their base on the station, we'd also be outnumbered not only by them, but any groups that may be allied with.
Not to
Good,
mention, we'd be
however.
heading to a place where most everybody probably knows everybody and hates each other equally.
Which could work
I was
against
going to
us.
say, to
Or
that
for us.
end, we could check and see if there's anybody who's trying to stage a coup. Happens to be staging a coup at the same time.
I highly doubt that.
Alternatively, we could just head there, find the reactor, set it to overloading, and get the hell out.
Just kill everybody?
I mean, it's not exactly the nicest place to be. If you're there, you're probably a really awful person.
I'm not saying, they possibly didn't have it coming to them, but I'm also suggesting that maybe they protect it pretty well since it's their home.
Yeah.
It's not that
I'm
Cat
saying-
disagrees with the plan, it's the logistics of it.
Exactly.
Aramonto, however, disagrees with the plan, but he is a thing.
I mean, if nothing else, I can send Yanni to check.
Well, first, because we need intel. We know they're there, but we don't know anything beyond that.
Right, you'd have to check the Smurgans. Smurgans did not give the name of the contact yet, so, you'd have to check back with him and see exactly what information he has on the contact.
Yeah.
That being said, if we know they're operating out of there, are they just using it as a staging area, or do they actually have a proper base somewhere else?
From what my friend said, it's where they're based out of.
Okay.
So,
Actually, he told you they had a guy there that was doing recruiting, and when he mentioned that you could go in guns blazing, or you could sneak in, or you could pummel that guy until he told you where they were based.
oh, okay.
Because if we can actually acquire intel as to, like, let's say they do a recruit drive, and when we find out where they're going, we essentially find out which ship is there to track it to their base of operations.
That'd work.
So it sounds like the crew is willing to take the job.
Cat'll
Yeah.
also, while they're all having like this little conversation, kind of poke around on the shadow net, see if she can get any more information, either on the station or on the raiders.
Okay.
Or
I
pirate.
forget what kind of role do you make for that.
It doesn't say anything about a role. It says ShadowNet training expertise of earned an online avatar on the ShadowNet secret underworld of locations and networks within the Cerulean intergalactic matrix. Members of
It's-
ShadowNet can converse in private, trade, share secrets, acquire locations for black market goods and resources, look up information about different territories and the secret societies that may operate within those areas.
Okay.
It's definitely not Underworld Connections.
So
Basically.
if you were looking up information, it'd be a computer use role. If you were talking to somebody, it'd be the usual social skills. You just have this extra avenue, extra group of folks you can go converse with. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what kind of information are you looking for? Are you just trying to look up stuff or quiz people?
Seeing if she can get any information on the recruiting that they're doing. Like, hey, I heard that they're doing some recruiting. What are they looking for? Got some interested parties that may be able to send their way, want to cut.
Let's see here. What would the old gather information fall under these days?
That would actually, hang on, because I think actually
Might be an investigation.
it is investigation.
Give me an investigation roll. Cat.
Okay.
I guess cat. Okay.
Yeah. She's the only one with access to the shadow net.
Even at advantage.
Yowza.
My
Ow.
death. Well, and still I don't have.
A question. Since can't she take 20? Because we have time.
Not sure that'd be one you could take 20 on or not, because it's a matter of can you find somebody that wants to talk to you.
Bunch of shady people talking to other shady people.
Everybody's, being kind of super careful.
I mean, she's not asking, hey, you got drugs?
That they'd probably be a lot more open about.
Probably, actually.
I'm looking to score some crack, guys. Does anyone know where I can get some?
Hello, fellow criminals.
Hello, fellow teenagers. You spice? Do you spice?
So you ask around. Nobody has a clue. What kind of recruiting these guys do. Really, not a lot of people seem to know much of anything about them.
I'm gonna duck out for a second, Jason.
Okay. I mean,
Oh,
people have heard the name. They know they know over the past few months they've been basically preying on other smugglers and what have you.
Okay. But then, from what she can gather, like, they're not highly established yet. They're not
No, they
legendary or
only
anything.
seem to have been active for a few months.
Okay.
Should share that.
Oh, yeah, she'd share it. I'm sorry. I thought you said, was she sure of that? I'm like,
No, yeah.
I guess.
Not really? Question mark?
And Adrian would listen to that and goes, well, that's a potential idea. Could see what groups might have been hit by them and basically just throw them to the wolves, so to speak.
Trying to get a bunch of criminals to work against other criminals would just be a pain in the ass.
More of trying to get a small bunch of criminals to probably brutally off someone that's been stealing money from them.
I mean, how much qubits or whatever do we have? If we could just set a bounty on them. I think last time, at least what I have marked down in the group pool. The group and ship fund repair was 6,650.
Jeez.
We're being paid 10,000 jobs, so it would probably need to be more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be running a crew, y'all don't have a whole lot of money.
Gotten by on a base.
I mean, we could just go here to the base or the station and see what's going on and figure out a plan from there.
That's probably the wise. Just kind of lightly mingle with ne'er-do-wells and see.
Yes, mingling with ne'er-do-wells and criminals.
So basically, just
Anyway, but enough about
currently.
breakfast this morning. Alright. I'll get some more guns on the line. Let them know we're taking the job.
I'm probably going to stay on the ship, fair warning.
Oh, you're gonna let us have all the fun?
No, it's more like I need a place to stash my unconscious body while I'm hacking. More often than not.
Yeah, Hobbs End is not the kind of station that you want to be doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll only take 2 or 3 of your kidneys. I mean, how many kidneys do Prometheans really need? All
Typic-
4, 5.
That depends on what kind of modifications you get, usually.
You Prometheans like lizards, right? You just pull a kidney off and another one grows.
Yeah, right?
Don't push your luck.
I've heard those stories.
Francis heads back to his room and rings up Smargans.
Aramonto will go and start setting a course? Question mark. Did I get a place that we were going to?
Hobbs End Station.
Hobbs End Station. Then I will start going over there and.
The other thing, we're probably going to want to look for another ship.
Like something other than the roustabout?
Yeah, something other than a very well-known ship from a very famous person that we
yeah.
happen to be piloting around like a couple of Dumbos.
Jim chimes in. Well, you know, we can cover up the logos on the side and change the
Registration?
thank you.
Put new tags on it?
Basically, because the roustabout, you know, it was not a rare type of ship. It is an older ship, which is actually going to be, you know, older ships are kind of common in places like Hobbs End.
Mhm.
So, you know, we could scuff up the outside. It doesn't have the same armaments that it had when we were on the show. You know, y'all have already been making modifications to it.
Yeah. I'm all for kind of changing the license plate on it, if possible.
Yeah. I'll
Why
say
would you
us
get a
showing up on a ship that registers as the roustabout would not be a good idea.
Why would you get a Volscati if you're not going to show it off?
Okay, what's the new name of the ship? The Vagabond?
No, that's me.
I thought your ship was the Toreador.
No. I'm me. The
Oh, okay.
the
character.
The Vagrant. Jim actually kind of seems to come out of his funk as he starts rattling off piratey ship names. Yeah.
You'd think he's been thinking about this for a while.
Secretly, Jim wanted to be a pirate. You can tell us, Jim, if you really ever wanted to be a pirate.
Kind of already is.
Let's see.
How
You just
how
hear
did
you
Kind
just
of.
hear off names: the Flaming Phoenix, the Lightning Eagle.
Lightning Eagle's horrible.
What about Screaming Eagle?
See, both of those sound like something that like a teenage boy would name a ship. I'm not saying it's bad, but
Yes, you are.
Well, it's not like I
Yeah,
put a lot
yeah.
of thought into being a pirate since I've been an adult.
That's also fair.
I mean, briefly the day before my wedding when I was getting the jitters, but you know.
Bloody stiletto.
yeah, it's either going to be a knife or a shoe.
Yes. Welcome to pirate names.
We'll paint some high heels on the side of the ship.
High heels with like a drop of blood on the bottom of the heel.
Yeah, it's like so me and Jade are going to have to start wearing stilettos during these adventures.
No, we'll just pretend you're the captains. Yeah.
Now that's a thought.
Wake me up when y'all feel like being not weird. I'm gonna go back to my room.
He's never getting woken up again.
Well, it's getting late. Y'all would sleep on it before y'all did anything. But all right, Francis goes back and contacts Smirkins. Francis,
Transfer the
glad you got back.
transfer
to me
the
so quick.
credits. Yeah, just transfer the credits. We're taking the job.
Excellent. You know how to contact me when the job's over, and truthfully, I'll probably know. But you hear some typing on his end. Now, I realize things can get messy in this sort of job. Please try not to broadcast it to the galaxy this time.
Only that one time, and that wasn't exactly planned.
Yeah, but that was some great footage. Thump. Thump, 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 thump.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty fucking cool. God damn!
He got under the scales.
And Francis checks his account to make sure the money's come through.
And you know from experience, it may take an hour or two for that to happen.
Alright.
But you also
There's
know,
no-
while you wouldn't necessarily say you trust Smirgans,
He's reliable.
Yes, he's in the sort of business where his reputation is important. You know, if you brought down, legal pressure on him, yeah, he'd have you whacked in no time. But as far as he hires you to do a job, he will pay you to do that job. Yeah, he needs that kind of reputation to keep his business going. He does send you some additional information. The name of the contact, where he can be found on the station. He lets you know that as far as he knows, nobody else on the station knows about this guy. Because if any of the local big hitters knew about him, they'd probably take him out. Because these raiders they haven't just attacked Smirgan stuff; they've also attacked the local Tongs operations, and the station also has a more of a mafia setup too. Basically, you have the two big heavy hitters on the station, and then a bunch of kind of smaller organizations under them. He goes, "It sounds all nice and organized. It's not."
So what's the contact's name, species, gender?
It is a female Dindus named Maripin. I actually have names in advance today. It's like I prepped.
The end is nigh.
And you said that was Maricus?
Maripin. Marapen.
And nigh the apocalypse guy.
She operates as a fence. It's kind of her day job. So, she has a little shop, kind of street pharmacy kind of shop. Which, this place is lawless, so, yeah, nobody cares.
I'll wait till they actually arrive.
Okay. Alright, so you get the information from Smargans. He wishes you luck. Though he's got all kinds of confidence in you and Jade. I mean, not necessarily for the sneaking in part, but when it's time to burn the guys down, he knows you got experience with that sort of thing.
Only that one time, and the time before, and the time. You know what? Francis is just going to bed.
How does that sound? Hello?
What's that?
Hello?
Get air conditioner.
Yeah.
I would know if somebody with an air conditioner in the background. Really see.
Yeah, it got loud. Something got loud there for a second.
Suddenly, wind tunnel.
Hello, hello?
I believe
Yeah,
it is.
it is definitely him.
I believe it is Zach, yes.
Oh, let me reposition myself a little bit. What about now?
Yeah, still heard it. It's weird because it wasn't doing it before, or doing it, earlier.
Huh.
You broke it, dude. You broke it.
It's like it's picking up a fan or something in the background.
Better or worse?
The same.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
we
getting,
may just have to live
better.
with it. It just means nobody can interrupt Zach because nobody can be heard over him.
Better or worse?
That is much better.
That is
That's
much better.
better.
That is much better. Alright. So you get the information. Presumably you retire for the evening. Jim walks back to his room, still naming off pirate ship names.
A flaming scimitar. Nope, too old.
You know, he steps
Yeah,
in,
that-
kind of the curtain, or he steps in, he shuts his door. Then suddenly his door opens. He sticks his head up. How about the deadly dandy? We could all dress in like fancy clothes. Nah, it's
I
not really a
already have
Hobbs Inn
one.
kind of thing. Yeah, I'll keep thinking about it. Shuts the door. So you're retired for the evening. The ship is, of course, still docked at Casparilla Station. Because Achille has his own personal dock for the ship here, which is why you get to stay for free.
Hey,
As opposed to other places where you have to, pay for docking. And you also notice there's been more security added to your dock.
that's very appreciated.
We should find Achille a nice relic or something, or maybe steal him a nice relic.
Maybe we'll find some.
Just gonna keep an eye out at Hobbs Station for like a nice archaeological knickknack.
Ooh, here's a
Something
brick from
that's gonna
Atlantis. Here you go.
Pretty much.
And on the plus side, as we run away, we can scream, "This belongs in a museum!"
It's not
For
going
sure.
to go to one.
I don't know. Achilles' house is almost a museum.
Pretty much.
Private museum.
Alright. So the next day, you put your plan into motion. What all do you want to do to disguise the roustabout? I've thrown out a few ideas. But
Definitely change the license and registration.
yeah.
Change the markings and all that.
Okay.
Alright, the HC is back.
Damn it! How?
It's moving. It's independently moving around you.
It's sneaking up behind you whenever you're not looking at it.
It's an oscillating air conditioner.
Or maybe your mic's going out or something. I don't know.
We can understand you when you talk, so it's not,
It's
Yeah.
all good.
But, Alright, so what are we changing the name of the roustabout to?
Fudge. Well, I vote we let Jim name it.
Adrian doesn't care as long as he knows what he has to change it to.
Hang on.
As long as it's not something too
Oh, here.
obviously fake.
Give me 1 second.
I mean, I've got a pirate ship random name generator here. I can just start.
Yeah, I think we went to the same website.
Yeah.
Fantasy
Well,
RPG generator just comes.
I have,
Yep.
I have the Evil Knight.
Wow.
Third
Looks like-
servant, the Hellborn Hind.
Okay, like the Hellborn Hind.
Sounds intimidating enough. Or Hellborn Rift. We can kind of poke fun at the Rift.
Alright, so pick whatever you want, because Jim's names aren't getting any better.
Poor Jim.
Apparently, he read a lot of pirate stories as a kid. They not like the high quality ones, like the pulp era comic book or comic book esque kind of ones, kind of the real over the top stuff.
Well, I do find the directness of the Scurvy Killers. We also have the Happy Deceit.
The what? Now the happy what?
One was the Happy Deceit. So far, Hellborn Hind seems to be the one favorite I've seen.
Are you saying Hind, like H-I-N-D, or Hine, H-I-N-E?
Hind, H-I-N-D.
You cut off the first letter. H-I-N-D or K-I-N-D?
Like the Soviet attack helicopter.
Oh, okay.
Hind.
With an
H-I-N-D.
H.
Yes.
Like the leg quarters, the hind leg quarters.
Got it.
Alright, so the roustabout becomes the Hellborn Hind. And I guess you cover up the logo, because basically the roustabout had kind of the Achilles' old show. It had its logo, on the side. Which, if you've seen the logo that I did for the campaign, it's the black circle and star design, but without the blue and yellow circles behind it.
Yeah, it feels like she's vandalizing something.
Dang it.
In the time you've been running around, some of these logos have been shot off before, so
Yeah, still, she's like, man.
I've
Like, I've stolen shit and murdered people, but this feels bad.
You're like, we'll fix it later. It's just
a single solitary tear goes down Aramanto's face in remembrance.
Kat and Armando are probably like the two most like fangirly about this.
Over the next couple of days, as y'all getting everything prepped, Jim contacts essentially a space scrapyard and gets a few panels of armor, basically, or bits of hull, whatever, that are a little dinged up or a little rusty, or nothing that's going to hinder the function, just something to make it look a little rougher. A few of them don't quite match the rest of the ship, so it gives it a slight patchwork job. Jim's never been to Hobbs End, but he's been to some rough stations. He kind of knows. He has seen the sorts of ships that are likely to run into. So he goes about kind of helping disguise the outside of the ship.
It's like the pirates on Cortanius.
Like, really resisting the urge to, like, Firefly and be like, we should strap some corpses to the front of the ship.
Oh, no. Definitely like the pirates on Cortanius.
Chip's like, well, we don't have any of those handy.
I mean, we could get some, or... I can make some.
I will say I haven't fully checked my room yet to see if there's a dead sentinel in there.
Well, if it matters, I can breathe in space.
We'll just put you on the top with a gun.
That's where you keep his unconscious body. No one would suspect it, I can promise you that.
Yeah, but...
Let's see.
I just have to be awake enough to reapply the atmospheric manipulation.
Okay, we're essentially doing this at the actual mortually Achilles hangar, more or less, correct?
You can move to that scrapyard if you wanted to. Now, but Achilles.
Okay, I didn't hear about the scrapyard. I guess I missed that. I'm sorry.
Well, I said here that Jim had contacted the scrapyard and gotten some mismatched pieces to apply to the hull.
I would say probably not do it just on the station, just because.
Yeah.
Achilles' hangar is private, but yeah, y'all would probably be spotted leaving.
Yeah.
Johnson? Yes, sir. Is that a pirate ship leaving that dock?
My God, it is.
We don't have a record of that ship docking with us. Did somebody build a pirate ship on station?
Perfect crime.
But the scrapyard Jim knows about. It's kind of off on its own, and you can get what you need and then just kind of go somewhere and do most of the work yourself.
Okay, because one of the things I could try to more or less... One of the things I could do is try to, like, essentially hot rod the engines. This way, essentially, it would also hide our original signature.
Anything to kind of make us...
I'm just going to put a supercharger on the ship right quick.
We're going to Paint flames on it, makes it goes faster.
Go faster
No,
than red.
you paint it red. That's what makes it go faster.
Flames and red are just gonna
Red
get so much.
Red flames. I like it. Anyway. The reason why I'm thinking kind of like the whole Firefly method, where if someone read our engines, our ship wouldn't be street legal, essentially.
Well, there's not a whole lot of regulation on that sort of thing.
Okay.
What you can do is make it where there's more exhaust, where at a glance it's clearly less fuel efficient.
Yeah.
So if somebody has studied the roustabout closely, yeah, this wouldn't match up.
Just in case.
Since I have like a high mechanics, I'll be doing a lot of the mods.
Yeah, and this stuff
Oh,
is simple. I'm not going to require rolls for most of this. Most of this stuff is fairly simple to do. Especially with you not being in any... I mean, you want to get to the job, but you're not in like a huge rush. You got a few days to spend.
And you wouldn't actually call these tractor beams or anything like that in the setting, but I think actually mounting grapples to it, to the ship, would make it look more convincing. Or at
That's
least,
not a bad idea. And it'd be other stuff you'd kind of be attaching to it, so the profile just looked a little different.
yeah.
Poof.
Or like a spaceship, so put a spaceship inside your spaceship.
Just in case you want to go whaling on in space.
Oh, I have not been through all the threat databases, but I'm sure there's space whales. I know there's space sharks.
Space whales. So that's an old joke with my friends. Whenever we play Stellaris and you run into the Tenyaki,
Oh yeah.
we always describe them as space whales. Then we always feel sad when we find the matriarch Leviathan. We have to kill it.
Yeah.
But the meat is so tender and delicious.
If by meat you mean a battleship with an orc in it.
Also, how's the wind tunnel effect?
You're good.
Sounds fine to me.
Seems to be gone now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still getting some of it, but it's a lot better now.
Yeah, changed mics.
Ah.
And so I guess it was the mic.
Yep.
Alright. So you spend a day or two getting the ship ready. Well, plus a couple of days travel to that out of the way little scrapyard. And then he heads off to Hobbs End. Hobbs End is in an area. It's not right on the outer edge of known space, because if it was, who would bother to go out there? It's centered in a sort of unofficial trade route. Basically, off the beaten path. Lots of smugglers use it, but it's not the sort of. Come on, now where's the universal map at? It's not the sort of. It's not a route smugglers use if they're in a hurry. But when stealth is more important, which is most of the time. Well. Oh, no. I guess it's important where the map is. The station is in a solar system that does not have any habitable worlds. There was lots of mining. It has 2 asteroid belts. There was a lot of mining there. But the station more or less depends on hydroponics and income from all these ships coming and going. To be in the middle of nowhere, it is a pretty busy port. It is technically outside the jurisdiction of the defense forces. Not that would stop them from rolling in here if something kind of really big went on. But just smuggling operations, the station's considered it's kind of its own sovereignty. So,
as we enter the space, I will. Everyone sees my orbs fade out, and then my swords end up back on my back sheaths that have been empty this whole time, and then my rifle's back there too. As I hide my rig.
now,
Which, now that I'm past level 5, I don't have to use a tech slot.
oh nice. Now, are you going to disguise yourselves in any way?
Adrian's staying on the ship, so no.
Yeah, Francis is breaking out the old disguise kit. Change up my markings, try and darken my scales a little bit.
Big handlebar mustache on the end of his snout.
That was implied.
I'm a pretty nondescript looking humanoid, so I'm fine.
Cat'll steal someone's jacket and paint and scuff up her mask a little bit.
I'm just picturing her going to a wall of masks. All right, what for this occasion?
Nah, just the same one she always wears. Just probably like
The psycho
scuffs
mask.
it up.
We'll go with that.
Just a scream mask.
It's the Joker mask.
Well, it will pain me to do this. I can more or less mod my armor and my drones. I mod them to where if obvious, essentially being like the little P-spheres that he normally has, they look. I mod some more drones to where they look kind of like I think what are those? What are the things from Destiny called again? I can't remember.
Ghosts?
Yeah, the little ghosts from Destiny now.
Okay, so instead of being just the silver spheres doing stuff, they've got all these angular protrusions and whatnot.
Yeah, and also I kind of mod my armor a bit.
Okay.
Add the neon lights in there too.
RGB lighting.
Yep.
Let's see. Jade, you probably dye her hair and some minor stuff. Francis, go ahead and give me a disguise roll.
May I roll again?
I'll let you roll one more time. As with that 7, you basically step out and the entire crew goes, no.
Cat'll try to help him.
Go.
But I put a mole over here.
Are you kidding me?
But Cat did try to help him. So
Cat
does
is
he have
helping.
I'm going to
advantage?
say Cat was helping you. I'm going to let you have the advantage.
Thank you.
Because this is
No,
not
like,
something
no.
you're rushed on doing. You got days to figure out how you're going to do this.
It's like, no, I've done makeup before. This is let me help you.
See, now I'm picturing Francis with his big alligator snout and blush.
Just like the little circle anime blush.
Mm-hmm.
I feel beautiful.
Anime sparkles in the background.
I may have an image for this after session.
Do I need to shoot somebody?
Well, I appreciate the eyes are a nice touch. Why does he have a fro?
Why not?
That was the last one.
I think that was a nice Battlestar Galactica reference. If I remember right, Imperious Leader off the original show, yeah, he was a reptile guy with a fro. Alright. So you get yourself disguised, probably not wearing your best clothes. Armanto, are you wearing your cloak?
Fuck. This cloak. I will stow it in a bag And if anybody asks me about it, it's the intent to sell it to like a fence or something.
Kat's leaving the fancy gun on the ship.
At least the
She has
first
a fe-
time, she knows she needs it.
Oh, yeah. But she has a feeling walking around with something that nice on her back is gonna put a target on.
It would. Weapons made out of Celerum. Yeah. Especially in a place like this. You need to have a reputation for being big and bad. You know, some nobody walks around with that. People are coming after you. Boba Fett walks around with that. Yeah. He'd probably get by with
No
it.
one. Yeah.
That's why I'm hiding my rig.
Well, a Sentinel's rig is generally pretty obvious.
They hide it.
But yeah, I mean, you can cover it up with clothing. And just because you have a rig does not necessarily mean people are going to peg you as a Sentinel. There's several varieties of folks that use rigs.
It's an evil sentinel.
It would be pretty obvious to them that you're an Esper if you have a rig.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm making sure they don't peg me for an Esper yet.
Okay.
I want to save that.
Give me a
I want
disguise
to
roll.
save that for. What am I rolling?
Oh, so what do you roll for a disguise kit?
Yeah,
Charisma.
roll down 5 to charisma.
No, you
Yes,
charisma
sir.
roll then.
Sure. That is a 12. Sorry, 9. I get those. It's a 9.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of cover it up. Anybody that looks at you closely is going to see something. But...
I'm not. No. It's a rig ability that it cloaks it. It legit cloaks it.
Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was an ability. I thought you were just, putting on a burlap sack.
No. It's legit cloaked.
Okay. Never mind it. All right, so you arrive at Hobbs End. Speaking to the station controls, about like any other station. You can see patches of the hull on this station that are... Well, it's got kind of a patchwork look to it. It looks sturdy. It looks like it's it looks like it's in good functioning shape. They just didn't always bother with aesthetics.
It's functionally dysfunctional.
It's very much gritty steampunk. Or space
I don't know
punk.
about steampunk, but yeah, gritty, yes.
It's cyberpunk. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. But this place generates a lot of money, so they keep everything in working order. It is more heavily armed than most stations you're familiar with, at least of its size. You dock with no problem. You charge the usual dock, a fairly normal docking fee. You are immediately hit up with, multiple people contact you wanting to sell fuel. You get multiple contacts about, this and that supplies. Some of it's basic, you need food, you need water, fuel. And then it drifts off into stuff that's a little more...
Seedier.
Yeah, stuff flat out illegal in most of civilized space in some cases.
God, I fucking hate pop-ups. I'm like over here with my comm device.
It's almost that bad. So Adrian is staying on the ship, is my understanding.
He's staying on the ship.
Probably doing the thing to lock down the ship.
Oh, that's permanent until I choose to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Well, as far as locking down the computer and stuff. Jim is staying on board the ship. Well, there's a part of him that would like to go out. Yeah, no, the last mission was rough enough, and y'all probably won't, won't
It's for the best, buddy. It's for the best. Please stay safe.
If we find anything really cool, we'll bring it back to you.
He
They'll have
has,
company
from
this time,
somewhere,
though.
managed to find himself a pirate hat and an eye patch, though.
What the fuck?
It's respectable.
He goes, oh, don't worry. He turns the
I-
eye patch around, and from the inside, you can see through the patch.
I respect the commitment to the bit.
If we find a parrot or like a hook, we'll get you hooked up.
Hooked up.
Bad puns, bad puns.
That's what I'm here for.
As you mentioned the parrot, though, Jim's like, I've always wondered, how did the pirates stop the parrots from just pooping down their back while they're perched on their shoulder?
Considering they live out on the ocean for months at a time and probably don't have the best hygiene to begin with, I think it was probably the least of their concerns.
That's just gross.
Probably.
Oh, well. Jim wishes you luck as you disembark. As you start walking around the docks, much like the sort of pop-up messages you were getting, you have people coming up to you offering you this and that. Some of them are trying to sell you things. Some of them are handing out old-fashioned flyers for, this massage parlor or this brothel or this, opium den, basically.
Pop-up ads.
It's literally crime advertisements.
The
Okay.
drug den ones are kind of amusing because you can tell the slightly more upper scale ones that emphasize the fact that they've got guards and you will wake up,
With all of your organs.
Maybe.
you will wake up incision free.
You will not wake up in a bathtub full of ice cubes. And Kat's like pocketing the advertisements just to show Jim and Adrian later for giggles.
You've got some, for lack of a better term, street urchins that, well, it's kind of your street urchin types mostly that are handing them out. Because kids can, even in a rough place like this, kids can get away with running up to people a little more than, if adults did it. They're a little less likely to get a gun pulled on them.
You say that now.
Though you see several incidents where they do get guns pulled on them. Hey, Mr. What? Never mind. And that's the universal thing. They'll have the flyers and they'll just be like, they'll turn around and, move on to the next one.
They just move on to the next one. I admire the tenacity.
You also get flyers for bodyguarding services.
I take one and I look at it and I look at my armor and I look at the presumably the child that hands it to me. And I'm just like,
I just have to hand out so many of them.
dude, whatever.
Cat
Crumples
takes.
it, throws it. Crumples it and like throws it back towards Cat.
Pockets it. We need options should, our career of crime fall through. We can look into further careers of crime.
Bodyguarding is legitimate business, first of all.
Until it's not.
Yeah, until it's not. And until it's like bodyguarding like a murderer or something.
Look, I've taken some seedy jobs in my day. But I draw the line at calling bodyguards seedy.
Okay, I'll let you hold on to that line there.
I will.
You also get flyers for eating establishments. One advertising that they have 50% less rat in their burgers than their competitors.
Eat his meat.
But what if I want rat?
There's
Come
places-
down
then
to
there-
Rat Johnson's.
Then there are places in the station just for you.
Wait, do they have a space Cinnabon? Like a really seedy space Cinnabon?
They do not.
Any baked goods at all?
Strangely enough, they actually have what looks like a legitimate but in a bun. Weird crap.
You do have bakeries and pastry shops.
It's right
Before
next to
they
the
leave,
actual
cats.
legit Starbucks.
Just not the chain that y'all hit when y'all are in, ritzier stations.
Cat Wolf hiding these places, and she's bringing back baked goods for everybody.
Is there a fish fry that's a drug front, like there is in San Antonio?
It's not even a front. It's like Bob's fish fries and meth.
You could
actually
definitely find a fish and chips joint.
Yeah, it's a Fred's Fish Fry, and it is absolutely a drug front because nobody ever visits there, and it's still in business. It's been in business as long as I've been alive.
Sometimes you can spot them like that. Nobody goes there. Everybody local knows not to go there.
Yes.
Mhm.
You go, it's pretty good, but like you're not going there every time.
You walk in to order food, and then everybody working in there just looks at you like,
Do we have any food in the back?
Ah, fuck! I have to use the fish fry again.
There's a great bit in Shadowrun where you find out one of the Japanese megacorps started as a front for the Yakuza, but broke away because they realized they were making more money.
It'd be like that.
they realize we've accidentally gone legit.
I want to get into Shadowrun again.
I've never played that.
The trick is with Shadowrun, I'll give it this much, it's the game you play in spite of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a gravel level of crunch.
Yeah, Sarah and I played it for a little while. It's actually where Adrian and Kat came from. There's a kind of just transfer them over here.
It's
From our
convoluted
Shadow game.
spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
but finding our contact after
that.
finding the fish fry and the space Cinnabon and
Yeah.
every opium den from here to there.
You get the layout. You kind of get an impression of what restaurants might be, relatively safe to eat at. And while you disguise yourself and kind of scruffy yourself up, you are not as scruffy as most of the folks wandering around here.
I'm in full trooper. Still in full trooper armor. It's like rough looking and dented, but it's still easily recognizable as trooper armor. What are they gonna do? Hit me?
Some mighty fine armor you're wearing there.
Yeah. What of it?
Give me perception checks.
Okay.
Kind of assume just getting off the ship, your heads are probably on swivels at the moment.
19.
There it is.
Alright, so we have a 19, a 15, a 25.
Give 1 second. Pass.
Indeed. You notice you're being watched. You don't get the impression. Well, say, Francis, you notice several folks seem to be watching you. Kat, you don't get the impression that they're watching you specifically. It's like it's people you wouldn't know who they're working for, but it's like they've been stationed here to watch the docks. And you guys are a little less scruffy than most of the folks in the area. Even you leaving the really good stuff on the ship, y'all are pretty well armed. Which nobody walks around this place unarmed. Even most of the children that are giving you flyers have at least got a
little
knife
pop
on
gun.
them.
What happened?
Little
We got
child-
shanked by the kids.
The ones that don't usually have an adult or two well armed somewhere kind of in the area. So like I said, you don't get the impression that they're necessarily targeting you, just that they're watching the area and you've kind of drawn their attention.
They're aware of our presence, but now we are aware of them being aware of us.
Got a
Kind
bunch
of.
of. Again, I'm wearing extremely heavy armor. I have 2 blades and a gun. What do you want?
More guns.
Yeah.
Your group also stands out a little bit in that you've noticed there's not a whole lot of humans here or Prometheans. And this is kind of on the opposite side of the
Yeah.
of stuff from
And-
Earth.
And I basically said I was wearing a helmet, or did I not?
I forget if you did or not. I know you had done something to disguise yourself.
Yeah.
Basically, you're setting it so just at a glance they might not realize you're Ashen Forged. Is it like a full conceal helmet or?
Yeah.
Okay.
To where, like, if I want to say, yeah, go full conceal. That works.
Okay. But anyway, other than that, though, the station is pretty diverse. Seems to be a fairly large Dendus population, which the local mafia is mostly made up of them. I mean, not at the lower level, it's just a mix of whoever lives on the station, but the folks kind of in charge of the local mafia. Where the local Tong, the other big boy, is Mordecai. Francis's race. So there's probably a little bit more of those two species on this station than others.
Noted. No lizard jokes.
Yes.
Noted.
Do not tease Francis about his tail popping off if you pull on him.
I have this book 1001 illicit jokes.
And now you know why I eat everybody's lunch in the fridge while you're sleeping.
That was you.
You do realize that my guy's like immune to poison, so the stuff I eat would probably not be good for you.
It's just straight up eating sludge just because he can.
That looks
Yeah,
horrible.
'cause he
It
can.
is horrible.
Just to spite him.
Ah, it smells like pure gasoline, because it is.
No, it's kerosene.
Delicious.
He's like this with the gas can, like.
It gives the pasta a certain je ne sais quoi.
Alright, so you're making your way towards the fences place?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to look up one
I
more.
feel like all the kids like handing out flyers makes this difficult terrain.
Right there on the docks, just as you're getting off the ship, yes. They thin out quickly after that.
I'm just picturing us like wading through children, like
It's not quite that bad. And it's not everybody handing out the flyers is a child. But when you get off the docks proper, anywhere in the station where it's mostly local folks, yeah, you don't have a lot of that. The locals don't put up with it, apparently. Yeah, they're much more likely to kick at the children than to take a flyer from them. Using a map Sparkus had given you, you quickly make your way to the street pharmacist shop. I don't really know even what you call it. The drug den. That's a good name.
Yeah.
street
And,
pharmacist, drug den.
There's neon signs in the windows. Their wares are on display. They are very prominently advertising what they sell. Because virtually nothing is illegal on this station.
There's straight up a crack pipe.
It's right there on the counter.
Yep. Lit.
Cat both hates this station and loves this station already.
It's got one of the little old-fashioned bells that ding as you walk in.
Ding.
There is a female dentist, behind the counter. Not the one in the picture Smurgan sent you. This is a younger looking one. She's sitting there playing on her data pad as you walk in. Let me know if you need anything.
Hey, yeah, we're looking for your boss.
Yeah, she's not here today.
Where's she at?
Also in the shop, well, there's a couple of customers perusing, as well as two. Let's see. What was their name?
They look similar to the.
Two members of a species called the Bakhorta. You all recognize them. They're relatively well known. They're considered kind of brutish. Let me hang on just a second. I've got a picture of them.
Handouts.
Yay.
Or I thought I had a picture of them. Where did I put that thing? Apparently I saved it into a file and did not remember what file I put in. Not new folder, save pictures, okay. Alright, I'm putting it in the Discord for you.
Discord, okay.
It's the official art, so I don't really know if I should be putting it up on screen for everybody to see, much as I hate not to. But
5 seconds, I thought they had 4 arms for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
no, just a tattered cape. They're looked at as a barbarous species. They came from a world that had multiple intelligent life, or multiple intelligent species, and basically ran their world with completely out of resources before they ever discovered faster than light travel. So you had basically a Mad Max kind of set up on their home world. Disease ran rampant. This species was a little more resistant to the disease than others, so they wound up being kind of the last man standing. When other spacefaring races discovered the planet, the surviving tribes immediately got off. They have a very tribal culture. They do lots of work as hired mercenaries. Fair amount of them are pirates as well, raiders of various sorts. The two in this shop are dressed a little better than in the picture, and are clearly shop security.
Mm-hmm.
They eye you as soon as you walk in, and kind of straighten up a little bit. 'Cause like I said, y'all are dressed a little better than most of the locals.
We're obviously off-station ruffians.
Well, they get a lot of those, so it's not that they're bowing up at you. It's just okay.
Well,
It's some of their regulars that are in here shopping, so they weren't that concerned about it. Just watching them for shoplifting, but But yeah, the presumably teenage dentist, yeah. Like I said, playing on the comm when you say you hear from your boss, yeah, she's not here today. You can check back tomorrow.
Do you have any way we could get in touch with her? We heard she knows something about a job opening.
We're not hiring.
Not here, sweetheart.
Give me perception checks.
Ooh. Same roll. 19.
Even worse.
I can't roll for shit tonight.
Patrick Hull is kind of fascinated. He's never really dealt with any of this kind of drug paraphernalia and stuff. It's completely outside of his scope of experience. Plus, you're immune to poisons. You know most of this stuff wouldn't do you any good anyway. But there's just such a variety of it. I mean, the crack pipes alone.
Look at all the bongs lined up on the wall behind the counter.
There's a bong that looks like a humpback whale.
I can't figure out what this one is. Oh, wait, that's two people engaged in... Oh.
If you turn your head like this, it look yeah.
I don't even want to think about where you actually puff on that one.
I got a 19.
Okay, so... Yeah, Armanto. You notice, when you say job opening... You know she's paying you a lot more attention now. While doing a pretty good job of looking completely nonchalant. You also notice where before, her finger gestures on her comm kind of looked like she was playing a game or something. It's not. Now it looks a lot more like she's typing.
Damn candy. Well, I'll step up and I'll say, well, if you happen to see her, let us know. Let her know. She'll know who.
Okay, about half of that faded out. I saw your lips moving.
God. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I was catching like every other sentence before.
I kind of like take over and I'm like, well, if you just happen to see her, just let her know. Got some people here inquiring. I start one.
All right, fine. Let me your comm frequency.
I will.
So do you leave your personal comm or do you leave how to contact the ship?
Actually,
my
no, not a personal. Use a murder one, which I think we've had enough comm links of loot over the course of this game.
Well, also if you give them the ship to contact, is the ship under the fake name?
Exactly.
And that would be yes.
So here's the frequency for the Hellbound Hind.
For the Rust, I mean the Hellbound.
The Rostabound.
Yeah. No, I would give
Hind.
them.
Yeah.
I would give them my
And
personal.
the name listed there would be Francis's associate. Because this is the contact we're trying to get in touch with, correct?
Whoa. No. Don't. I may not have been clear. No.
Okay.
I don't mean contact like this is one of Smurgan's contacts. No, this is a contact of the pirates that Smurgan has discovered.
Okay.
Let's not bring
dropping
Smurgan into
Smurgan's
this.
name would be a bad idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Then I will, with all of that, I will just kind of like motion to everybody else to GTFO, and I'll start walking down.
Leaving the shop, you kind of glance back over your shoulder and you see her walking to the back.
All right, we got what we
like,
needed.
yeah.
Get out of here.
I wanted to go look at illegal stuff.
Well, it's not illegal.
Highly.
Takes out all the
That's
fun.
not illegal. Yeah. We got what we needed here. Let's go.
All right.
I got the best contraband on the station. Illegal everywhere on the station. Precious moments figures.
It's a shame you can't see me shaking my head right.
But he is. He's shaking his head at you. Anything cute and wholesome is completely outlawed. They have raids where they raid children homes to remove all the teddy bears.
No.
Except for those teddy bears that you squeeze and the mouths open, they've got fangs.
You squeeze. There's like a knife that pops out.
Yeah, then there's the... Oh, what's the name of those, like, the tiger people they have here, the lion?
I know what you're talking about.
The only tiger I know is a Rakshasa.
The Valna.
Yeah, you have one of the Valna being carried away. I'm just naturally this fluffy.
I fell asleep in the dryer. It's not my fault. You do see some Valna in the station. But they also... A lot of them also fall into kind of mercenary work.
Valna has wares if you have coin.
Oh, jeez.
There's like sneak.
Alright, so as you exit the shop and basically have to wait for her to contact you, where y'all want to go? What y'all want to do?
I imagine this place has some pretty interesting gun shops.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet you this place has some great weapons.
Yeah.
The legality of these weapons is probably...
Well, here on the station, they're fine.
Yeah, here on the station, it's fine, but when we get off the station and have to go pretend to be upstanding and members of society again.
It's a shame you don't have a feature that turns your weapons into rivets on your forearm. Oh well.
Why is this thing called the spleen exfoliator?
Because it exfoliates your spleen. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah. I
what
don't
you
wanna
want is
get-
this here bowel disruptor. I know it's non-lethal, but it's fun enough to make up for it.
It's not lethal, but it feels lethal.
It's not lethal, but
It's
they
not-
will
it's not
occasionally shoot
lethal.
themselves.
Yeah, I'm also curious and want to hit up a weapon shop.
Say, I know what Adrian's doing during all this.
Oh yes, I have been neglecting you.
That's fine.
So Adrian has been taking a nap.
No, actually, he hasn't.
Oh, is he not? Okay.
No, he has made sure that all of the electronic countermeasures are in place on the ship. All of his abilities and powers that can make it as secure as possible. And then he starts fiddling with the dog.
The doggo.
He's looking over his dead dog Rover.
Yeah.
Unleash the Robo-Doggo.
Just unleash
You
it
know-
on the station.
If you had someone with a mechanic skill, they could probably help you out there.
I am trained in that, so.
Yeah, the crew is well blessed with mechanics. I think we've got at least 3 people.
Good. Good.
Hull is probably our top tier one, but. Alright, so you hit gun shops. There's a lot of them.
A weaponsmith, not just some gunner. A weaponsmith. I have particular needs, okay?
We want the classiest black market gun shop we can find.
No, I want swords.
We want the classiest
You
sword.
you can find an upscale weapon shop.
Sure.
It's right at the edge of one of the fancier districts. You go in there and there's, gold-plated guns and, silver etchings.
Yes, you keep forgetting just how tacky evil actually is.
Hey, you've had people in real life have gold-plated AK-47s.
Oh no, I've seen
Yeah.
pictures.
Yep.
It's very
Yeah, honestly, when they took out Gaddafi's palaces, you could show the guys who took the place just weirded out. You got them doing BMX tricks in the swimming pools indoors. It's weird.
I don't know if I'd heard that about Gaddafi. I'd definitely heard that about Hussein.
Yeah.
The gold-plated toilet.
Yeah.
On the plus side, I guess I'm glad he was spending his money on that as opposed to the chemical weapons. But
Another thing is, I want to say
well,
it's
I can have this poison, or I can have my gold-plated toilet. Gotta have priorities.
Seems like that would be really cold first thing in the morning.
You heat
Yeah.
it. Well, you're not a savage.
Probably
I don't know
not-
how warm it is in Iraq anyway.
I was
So,
gonna say, probably not in the Middle East.
Eh.
well, deserts can get pretty cold at night. Anyway, we're
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
off on a tangent.
and
But anyway, you find an
Welcome to this new
upscale.
people.
You find an upscale weapon shop, and in this part of town, your clothing doesn't stick out. You see people wearing a lot fancier than you, but you blend in with most of the folks in this area. You walk in, there's a little electronic ding when you walk in.
Ba-ding, ba-ding.
Like I said, you've got the really fancy, well, really gaudy stuff on display. But the stuff that's not gaudy does look like it's good quality.
Francis is gonna look for an upgrade to his heavy pistol. Something with a little bit more oomph, but still single-handed.
Okay.
I'm gonna straight up just go to the proprietor and be like, so this stuff looks like it attracts the people who are just yuppies. I want something with, function along with
Yeah. We got to put out the display pieces. I don't like
I-
it, but you got to know your market.
you want the compensator.
Let me show you the Phalosaurus Rex.
Oh jeez.
That is a statted up weapon out of a game called
Yeah.
Feng Shui.
Yes, it actually does in fact exist.
It is a pistol with a 100-round clip
Ooh.
that stretches to the floor so
That
you
is
can brace them on the
effective.
floor. Feng Shui is not a serious game.
It gives you a bonus to aiming. No recoil, but you might dig a hole in the wood.
Let's see. So what exactly is Armato looking for?
Well, as you can see, I'm a bit of a blade master versus I just have the sidearm because you gotta have range, but I'm more looking for something of the bladed variety.
Step out here to the back. I don't keep the swords out here.
Sure.
Not as much called for them. Here on the station.
Of course.
You step into a back room.
Oh shit! I'm about to get jumped.
No, this is the good part of town.
Yeah.
And then he jumps you.
Politely.
But
So, let's
not in the
see.
way you'd think.
You see short blades, war hammers, one microfilament whip. He's got a couple of grand blades, kind of like yours. Great axes. Even a blade that basically attaches to the forearm that you can pop out.
Assassin's Creed.
Basically it's like having a sword attached, but you got your hand free.
I already have my hands free.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes, this is
It's
kind
on
of
the-
our general use stuff. Or if you got the coin, we do have a few forged weapons.
forged weapons, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Anything of the bladed variety, or are they just kind of?
Oh, yes, yes.
warhammer?
I'm speaking of the bladed weapons right now.
Okay. Sorry. I'm a bit of a tinkerer in forging myself. I'm not,
Oh,
good at it.
He shows you a long blade. He goes, this one, for instance, when you strike with it, you can release a burst of energy out of the tip into your target. I don't know if you could really say it does more damage to them, but they lose some muscle control, and it's much harder for them to flee or maneuver.
Disorienting. I understand.
Basically, game mechanic wise, it has the
It's an energy burst.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's forward, so it's also a +1.
Right.
This is one of my more high dollar items, at least out of my melee selection.
I understand. Well, look at this. Just kind of like go over it, like not touch it, but like,
Oh, he tells you you can pick it up.
oh, picks it up,
It,
kind of like
it is not fragile.
he does kind of like this action, like at the conventions where they have the little sword shop where you just kind of like mess with the white blades.
And he steps back to give you, he steps back to give you a few feet,
Fair enough.
Not jump back like he's afraid, just give you a little space.
Right, just the.
You wouldn't want to, you would not want an unfortunate accident.
Of course. How much is this one? And he's gonna like hand it back like this, like holding running water and hand it back that.
Yeah. He accepts it back, kind of spins it around and puts it back in its sheath. Gives you
How
the
much for
impression that
that?
he probably is not a real experienced fighter, but he's clearly had some training in handling these things.
Right.
Well, I was trying to find a list of prices for forged weaponry.
How much is it?
Probably more than we have. Well, let's find out.
$11 bajillion.
1 second, I'm gonna go grab the DMG.
If you want, I can look into a +1 longsword, and we can go from there.
Look up the equivalent of a +2 longsword price-wise, because it's got
Sure.
it's got that extra energy burst thing on it.
This is my homework, guys. I'll do it.
Well, I thought they would have some samples of forged weaponry there in the equipment section, and then they did not. Luckily, this is 5th edition, so it's not going to be hard to find. Since the money translates pretty straight.
Right. This is 3.5. That's not what I wanted.
Oh, that's right. They don't really give prices, do they?
Give me 1 second.
Is it gonna be Reddit where I have to look at it?
Do what now?
I was like, do I have to look through Reddit? Magical items go from 50 to 50,000, how rare they are.
You said a longsword +2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't have anything useful.
I guess all of this is telling us that you should make it up, Jason.
Yep.
It's like, let me just search, because this does have like 5e stuff in it.
Well, I was forgetting about how much rarer they made magical items in 5e. Where you don't really just have magic weapon shops you walk into, you tend to find them.
In 3.5 it was like 8,000-ish, I think. That's what I read.
So for this, we'll say it's like, his initial asking price is like 9,000.
Okay.
You could bargain a little bit for him, but
I've got tree fitting.
It is truthfully probably out of your price range at the moment.
Yeah, of course. But most of that is I want to show that I'm like, a bit of a sword enthusiast, so that I'm not just some scrub coming back here. Gotta earn my street cred as I go.
Okay, give me a. Well, it would not be a bluff.
Not bluffing. I am actually pretty good with swords.
Just give me a charisma check.
Sure. That is a 16.
Okay. So you hand it back to him. You get chit chatting with him about swords. Clearly, the melee weapons are something he's into.
Yeah, I understand. It's not very good to sell here, where everyone just bang shooty gun.
He's like, yes, I can't. And he's like, I can't criticize it for that. Guns, guns are as popular as they are for a reason.
Right, it works.
If my life was on the line, I'd much rather hit you from further away.
Sure. There's just something so satisfying about just running someone through with, and he pulls out his grand blade, just running someone through with this thing.
I would really have thought a weapon like that would be more of a hacking, slashing weapon.
It's got a big curved blade, but it's like a giant kitchen knife where you can do either or.
It's versatile.
Yeah.
Well, any weapon can stab if you try hard enough.
Right. Now, out in the main showroom where the rest of you are, while the shop owner, or at least manager, carried Automoto to the back, there are other workers in the shop that can assist you. And let's see, Francis was looking for something.
I think Francis was looking for a beefier pistol.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I'm really going to like it when the technician's guide comes out and you got more weaponry.
Cat would be looking at that whip, because that could be interesting to use, both for trying to get around. Well, if they have any other whips out.
I would tell you about it.
Alright. So, beefier pistols. What kind of pistol does Francis currently have?
Heavy. A heavy pistol.
Alright. As far as pistols go, that's pretty much the best we've got in the current book. Now, he could always upgrade to a shotgun.
I like the option of having my OP sword in one hand and a pistol in the other.
Oh
The
yes,
sword of OP-ness.
Yeah.
Are you carrying the sword of OP with you?
Honestly, I'm gonna say Francis probably locked that up in a safe back on the ship.
Okay.
Away from Jim.
Hey, Jim was the first person to kill with. Well, other than the guy you killed to take it. Really, it should be Jim's sword of OP.
Well, if Jim wants to come out on missions with us,
He doesn't mind loaning it to Francis, though. Francis is a bud. Though you may get back to the ship and he's cracked the safe. He's running around with his pirate outfit on, swinging around.
I suppose in lieu of a better pistol, what do they have in terms of grenades?
They've got any kind of grenade you could want.
Delightful.
Says that now.
Fragmentation, EMP, various gas grenades, phosphorus, stun grenades if you want to take somebody alive.
Or as we like to call it, the pansy way.
Well, sometimes you may have a bounty that you need to bring back alive. Or...
Well, just imagine like one of those like old comic turnstiles, loaded with grenades.
The
like
traveler.
spinny racks. Yeah, I like that image.
Yeah. Phosphor. We got phosphorus. We got gas.
Anybody sells white phosphorus. We have blue phosphorus.
Doesn't make a blue fire.
It does. The fumes are toxic, though, so be careful.
I guess get the image of us though. If we go to like the shadier areas for weapons, we get what you buying. Of course, like
the Resident Evil merchant. What are you buying?
Yep.
Yeah, Francis is gonna buy 3 fragmentation grenades and 1 EMP grenade.
Okay.
What do you have?
The EMP, of course, does not do anything to living creatures and automations. Yeah, they can wind up impaired. So it's basically a stun grenade for machines. Is anyone else looking for anything?
weep. I heard microfilament weep.
That's in the back with me.
Bam.
So, give me a perception check. See if you overheard.
You're pretty good at it, yeah.
So yeah, you were poking through some stuff and you heard, oh yeah, we got this and this, the microfilament whip. So while Armato, while you are chewing while you're just kind of talking shop with the guy,
I'll tell you what.
Cat sticks her head back.
I heard you got whipped.
Don't queer the deal. I'll tell him. I'll tell you what. Maybe we can work out some sort of an agreement for that. As I am all for paying. However, there's more than one way to pay for an item.
Sir, I'm not that kind of man.
I'll have you know, sir, that while you are a very handsome man, I am married.
Showing some
Not at
angle
all what I
back
meant.
there. Like unlatches the gauntlets and then puts them back on.
Well, I mean, if you have, certain tasks that you need that maybe you can't get into a certain area of town, stop looking at it like that, Cat.
I'm not saying a damn thing. Look, Cat, like if she heard this, like around the corner, would just be like,
Yes, sir.
Not that
Odd jobs you need done.
Not that I'm putting ideas into anyone's head, but since the store manager is distracted talking to our new friend, you are the thief. Just saying.
Yeah, there are two more workers out in the sales floor. Now, one of them is talking to Francis. One of them is selling Francis grenades.
One of the actual agents of chaos here.
And in this part of town, you better believe there's security.
Yeah,
she has a feeling if she tries to steal and gets caught, she's just going to get shot, no questions asked, and she's had enough of getting shot the past couple missions.
That's right. You seem to go unconscious in almost every combat, don't you?
No, unconscious or 1 hit point.
Gotcha.
It's a trend.
So, if you have any odd job, I'll give him my personal comm. So, if you have any odd jobs you need done, just let me know.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but if anything comes up, I will let you know.
Of course. You seem like a reputable sort of person. And I'd hate to let business go without I'd hate for us to leave without some sort of
deal.
Jeremy can't find the word, but Aramonto knows the word. Communication. Just in case.
Connection.
Connection. That's it.
Well, he jots down your number or whatever. Well, I can't think of anything I would need done as of right now. If anything comes up and you're still on station, I will let you know.
Absolutely. Shake. Pleasure. Potentially doing business.
Pleasure discussing the trade with you.
Of course.
Aramonto walks back out front. Cat, you see him come back through the curtain.
I heard whips.
There's, I think you might like it. Actually, it's a very fine microfilament.
Ooh.
And the manager's like, "Oh, if you're interested in melee weapons, certainly you may step back."
Well, not so much the melee aspect of it, but that's a good point too. I mean, it's an elegant weapon, kind of, sort of. Watch me not be proficient with this weapon, anyways.
Let's see.
Let me check that.
It falls under martial melee.
I probably am, but let me just make sure, because that would be.
Looks like if
that
you're
would be
proficient
something
with
I would.
any kind of sword, you pretty much should be.
Proficiency, simple weapon, nope. She's gonna look at it longingly and be like, "It's beautiful." And I can't have it.
He takes it down, he cracks it, and kind of shows you if he moves with it.
Hey.
Nothing super fancy, just, he's clearly got a basic competency with it.
Hey, cat.
Even when I go hunt, I can't go hunter yet. I have to have a wisdom of 13.
Oh wait, are you you're a specialist, correct?
Uh-huh.
Proficiencies: light armor, simple weapons, auto pistols, long blades, short blades, and saber.
It's a martial weapon.
So it's a martial weapon, but not one that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
She's got all simples, and it just gives a handful of the martial ones they can use.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough wisdom to go hunter yet, so.
So sometime down the road is a weapon you may keep in mind.
It's like, I might make a trip back here.
Also, you may want to ask. Oh, he's probably showed the fancy long blade or short blade or even saber, if you will.
Told anybody yet?
Yeah, Cat sees all these other weapons hung up on the wall.
Yeah.
The only melee weapons you really saw out on the sales floor were knives.
Yeah.
They're like gold.
And some collapsible, batons. And maybe some power gauntlets, because those are the sort of things people around here might have.
Was there a sword cane?
You know, he sells to the ritzier folks. There's probably some kind of sword cane. You know, it would just be a long blade with the conceal feature for concealment.
Yeah.
That's like, nah. I remember the kind of folks that used to carry those now.
Had a buddy that worked at a grocery store, and they had a customer that lived back behind the store. You know, in a little subdivision or whatever. That would always walk to work or walk to the store to do his shopping. You know, older gentleman. And somebody tried to mug him back behind the sword one time, and that's when everybody found out. Oh, that's a sword cane. As he chased his would-be mugger across the parking lot with a sword.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the police confiscated it because it was illegal. But, he didn't get any. They didn't get him in any trouble since he was defending himself, but they did have to confiscate the sword.
Remorsefully, probably.
Oh, that's probably a story they still tell.
Okay. She will oogle the whip and then join everyone else back out there. She's mostly going to stick with her pistols now and then eventually the sniper rifle.
But, if y'all need any ammo, they've got that, And if you don't have anywhere else specifically that you want to hit, you'll head back. You can head back to the ship.
Cat will pick up baked goods on the way back. Just don't have to make time to stop there, but just as a quick side trip, she will have ran to a baked good place. And
you pick one of the slightly more middle class-ish looking areas. Not that there is much of a middle class on this station. You seem to either be pretty well off or
something that looks like it was run by the station grandma, like the old lady that lives on the station that no one messes with, and if anyone does mess with, the wrath of hell comes down.
She's technically protected by the mafia, but she doesn't pay.
Exactly.
Somebody in the mafia is just fond of her.
They're like, look, she makes the best banana bread ever. We've got to keep her alive. She's the only one on the station that knows how to make tiramisu. We've got to keep her going.
So yeah, you walk back into the ship with a box of pastries.
You hear me deeply exhale as my rig comes back online. Well, it was always online, but visible.
Decloaks.
Yeah.
Distributes the pastries.
Jim's like, ooh, you came back with booty.
Please, no, Jim, no.
No, Jim. If you're going
Pulls out the flyer.
No, Jim. If you're going to go there, go all the way. Order, matey, did you find any booty?
She'll pull out one of the flyers for probably a brothel they got. No, here's the booty if you would like some.
I will aim my short rifle at.
He's like, well, I'm not married anymore. But probably not going to risk it on this station.
Definitely get yourself checked before and after if you do partake.
No one's judging you, though.
We're so judging you.
He's
not
in particular.
Natural one. I am judging the shit out of them.
Later that night, or actually that next morning, you get up, and as you're eating breakfast, you get a call.
Oh,
guys, Jim puts it through to the galley to the galley where you're eating. You hear a woman's voice. So you were in my shop yesterday. Said you were looking for work?
Always looking for work.
What sort of work are you looking for?
The paying kind. With a very low bar for morality.
That's it.
Well, that's just looking for work at this station.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I see you've got your own ship. That opens up a lot of possibilities. Why don't you come back by the shop today? Oh, say mid-afternoon.
Sure.
You know, after lunch, because I'm not feeding you. But
Missing out on a delightful lunch.
well, when you get here, the boys will show you to the back. And we can discuss what sort of low morality work you're willing to do.
The money's good. Virtually do anything.
If the money's good, we're not. Let's see what else. And she cuts communication without, saying goodbye or anything like that. Is there anything you want to do up in the early part of the day?
How did the bit go with the puppo? The robo?
Oh, yeah. Give me a mechanics roll, Adrian.
Just curious who have a tiny, angry, robotic
Yeah,
dog.
he would have taken time to like study it first and everything and all that. So yeah.
You
Mechanics.
can say plenty on it.
Eh?
With it being dead, essentially, you may have to have access to a forge to get it going again.
Okay.
And those are mostly, maybe exclusively, on crucibles. It's not that you couldn't potentially. It's not that you couldn't potentially get access to one.
Yeah.
It might be costly, or you might have to, might have to occur a favor from someone to cash in.
Uh-huh.
But mechanically speaking, you're basically raising this thing from the dead. The way it works. So, because this was a self-aware, not highly intelligent. It was around animal, slightly smarter than an animal, but.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just picturing Frankenstein, like lightning.
Kind of. Now, the plus side is, if you work on it like that, you don't think you'd have to do any kind of retraining or anything. It would basically be yours.
Yeah.
Where before you were concerned about having to retrain it or convince it you were its friend, that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh. Alright, well that would work.
So what's the story with this? To just collect a little bit of everything?
Well, you were there when you collected the dog. It was one of the robot dogs. It was one of the
No,
robot dogs
he was
Hunter
not
was
there.
using. Oh, was he not there for that one?
No.
I think that was the time we've been down like one person, at least the.
That's right. When they attacked Hunter, he had a pack of these like mechanical dogs. They had guns mounted in their shoulders. They could stealth. They was.
Okay.
They were adorable, in a murderous kind of way.
They're about
And I
full
kept one.
sized. But yeah, he salvaged one of them.
Are you just picking up random strays? Is that? I mean, I'm speaking as a random stray. Are you just picking up? Is just your thing picking up random strays?
Yes and no. It really depends on what kind of use I can find out of them. This one in particular, having a semi-sentient stealth dog that's capable of doing things on its own with mounted machine guns and missile launchers on it that can cloak. I can see some uses for that.
Well, now it just came on with essentially a heavy pistol in its shoulder.
He doesn't know that.
Insight check. Natural one again. Nope. I'm just enthralled.
Well, Adrian could also be planning on what he'd add to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The robo
Spicy.
dog like got a rifle, a chainsaw.
It runs
No,
along and
he's-
then gets on his back legs, the shotgun.
Robodog essentially just becomes the Liger Zero.
Yes.
There was a cartoon
Oh.
called Brave Star when I was a kid. It was like a western in space from the guys that did
Oh,
He-Man. That
Basically,
yeah,
just the, yeah.
3030 I think was the name of his horse. Who, when he wasn't riding it, would stand upright and pack. Oh, it was a shotgun with a kind of
Yeah, it
redneck
was like
sounding name.
I think it was like Betty Lou was its name.
Something like
Basically,
that.
imagine a shotgun that had like a stovepipe for a barrel.
Yeah.
The 80s were a weird time for cartoons.
Yeah. A little bit.
There's a point where 80s cartoon is essentially a genre now.
Yep.
Basically.
All right.
I think I'll just. Anytime I'm out on the station, I'm my rig is
Okay. You had got the look you use on station, and
yeah. That's like I don't do anything to disguise myself except for cloaking my rig. I just look like a dude in heavy armor.
Cap may scuff up the jacket a little bit more.
help blend in just a little bit better.
Just a little bit better.
So y'all go out the second day, blending in a little bit better.
Maybe I don't want to blend in with these plebs.
For lunch, do you eat in the ship or do you go out to a local establishment?
I mean, there's 50% less rat in that burger, guys.
That is mighty tempting.
Look, as long as the meat's been properly cooked, it's fine.
It's all meat. Doesn't matter how many legs it had.
Yeah,
Meat's
we
meat.
should
Learn to eat.
probably just eat on the ship.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. Go get you a burger.
Aramonto will go get
Some popcorn
real quick.
roaches.
Get them. Aramonto will get some takeout. The equivalent of like Chinese takeout.
This is the
I
most
bet you they have-
well-armed delivery man you've ever seen.
I mean, I bet you they have some great quote-unquote street food.
I will say, as someone who grew up in the hood, probably not the most well-armed person I've met.
So you're eating your, sandwich of mystery meat.
I was like, oh,
Kind of reminds me of pork, but I don't know what it is.
it's pretty
And
good.
smaller, more legs.
I ate much weirder on that fucking moon.
Oh, yes, quite possibly.
I had to eat part of that stupid tree that fought me.
I ate the tree that tried to eat me. It was eat or be eaten.
Delicious tarantulas.
Circle of life.
So eventually, mid-afternoon rolls around. You make your way back down to the street pharmacist. You ding through the door. It's the same teenager sitting behind the counter. She looks at one of the guards. He kind of detaches himself from the wall that he was leaning against. You come with me. The boss she wants to see.
Okay. That's what I thought.
He carries you into the back and up some stairs to an office area. Or at least the room he takes you to is an office. You get the impression that there's maybe living quarters up here, so you don't know if she lives above her shop or if the shop was just set up for that and she's using the space for something else. Because the only door open in the hallway that you get to upstairs is into her office. Sitting behind the desk, you see the woman that Smurgan sent you the picture of. A probably Middle Ages ageish dentist woman. Now the dentists live a good long time, so you couldn't really take a guess at her actual age. There's a very wide span it could be. But you walk in, she's like, "Please have a seat." She's sitting there with a drink, but she doesn't offer you one. So, what kind of work are you wanting to do for a simple saleswoman in the pharmaceutical industry, in the recreational pharmaceutical industry?
Shipping and handling.
Kind of. Well. Let's. What kind of work does a simple merchant in the pharmaceutical industry have?
Well,
Somewhere Cat is just like, this, we're gonna get killed.
oh, when you walked into this room, there is another guard in the corner, and the guard that escorted you in stays.
Sure.
And while she's sitting there at her desk with her drink, one hand is kind of below the desk where you can't really see it.
It's probably a gun.
It's quite possible.
It's definitely a gun.
You do notice his office is pretty well furnished. It is much nicer than the downstairs looks, or really the rest of the neighborhood.
There's guns under every table.
Actually, the table is just a gun.
Rocket launchers hidden under the couch.
Gun mimic.
Oh no. Make that now.
And by gun mimic, I mean it's literally just a treasure chest that has like a little dude with a shotgun in it. Ah!
Well, I have to ask. You're a decent-sized crew. I mean, for the size of ship you got. You got a decent ship. Little, older model, but looks like it's in decent repair.
Decent
They don't make
repair.
it like they used to.
But, so what would make a crew of a ship like you come to my small shop looking for work?
Oh, we heard you could put us in touch with interested parties who may be in need of a crew with a functional ship.
And who told you that?
Oh, just a little bird.
All right,
Sure, you would.
Francis.
Sure, you understand keeping our sources confidential.
And I'm sure you
I'm helping
understand that in a place like this station, you must be very careful who you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Finally, something kind of decent.
All right, and that would be against her insight. Oh, it is wisdom base. Excellent.
Don't make that noise, please.
Unfortunately, her dice roll is only about half of yours, so you managed to deflect a little bit. Not a lot of people know to come to me for work. Still, I do know someone who has asked me to keep an eye out for potential workers. And he's always interested in adding an extra ship to his trade fleet. Yep. One of my boys went out and took a gander at your ship. It looked like you were fairly well armed. Around here, you need to be able to protect yourself.
Taps it.
You have to be strong enough to hold on to what's yours, or it's not really yours.
Good offense is a good defense.
Indeed. If you look like you can put up a good enough offense, sometimes you don't even have to use the defense. So what sort of not recommendations, but
Qualifications?
no, crap, totally blanking. 2 hours of sleep was not enough today. When you put somebody down, references. What sort of references do you have? Not everyone all at once.
To be perfectly honest, I grew up in a very, very not super well-to-do area of where the planet I lived in. So my references just come from I'm more of a man of action versus like having people who I have contacted over the years. And where I'm from, I'm a pretty good sword arm.
Okay, give me a
There's
Telling the truth,
persuasion, I think is what I'm looking
sure.
for. There it is.
That is a 6.
Total?
Yeah.
It's not that you're lying, you just sort of stumble and bumble and fumble over putting your words together.
and I sort of step in and say, and this is actually out of character. He went by the name the Hunter, or the general guy who was the place where we just came from. This is me out of character.
Y'all are taking to calling him Hunter. When you first ran into him on the world where y'all were protecting Stella, he had a human identity he was using. I forget what the name was. You know, he was Captain So and So. But no real records have been found of that captain, as opposed to some of the other Primarin you ran into that have like an established identity. A little research on this guy, I think, turned up that he had a fake ID.
Because if she ever heard of, because he actually never said what he called himself ever, did he?
No.
I was thinking that would be a good reference. Or
Except he doesn't really. It's not like he really did piracy though.
yeah,
He just tricked people to come out in the middle of nowhere and then killed them.
Cat'll speak up. She's like, you ever heard of the Corvinus pharmaceutical family?
Please, dear. No
I
one in my
know.
line of work hasn't.
Walked off with a couple of their products.
Oh?
Me and another buddy.
Give me. I'm going to assume that this is all basically true that you're saying.
It is. It would just be persuasion.
So what's your total? Oh no, 18.
18.
Well, she rolled higher than you, but you're not lying to her or anything.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, I'm not lying.
She gets that you're telling the truth.
She'll
In all likelihood.
OOC. Would Adrian have given Kat any of the data from that?
Nope.
Yeah.
That is entirely in his head.
Yeah.
He's the only one who knows what that is and where it's at.
Now, Kat would have some idea of what he took because that's what the family was upset about.
Yeah.
The specific is in his head of how it happened, though.
Fudge.
Shit.
She's like, yeah, came away with a little souvenir, so to speak, just something they had laying around, and she will pull out the signet necklace on her neck, which is the Corvinus house signet, the caduceus with one snake biting the other's neck.
Oh.
puts it back into her
She's
shirt.
like, she kind of leans forward. May I?
I'd rather not.
No, you don't have to take it
I
off.
understand. Kind of holds it out enough so she can see it, but if she tries to touch it, she pulls it back.
That looks legit. It's a dangerous thing to be wearing around all the time.
Only if the wrong people see it.
Oh, honey, I've made a career of being the wrong person.
So have I.
I will quietly just kind of not slink to the back, but like let my rig apparate out. Just let it apparate into thin air, or into being. I'll say. I'm not doing it technically. It just kind of happened.
Both of the guards seem to be paying you a lot of attention.
I may not be able to talk worth a lick, but I can still fight.
Cat will be like, and I'll vouch for the folks here. They all know how to get a job done. We got another
is this
guy.
your entire crew?
There's a pilot, guy that's good with computers, back on the ship. Aren't gonna leave our
Not
ship
really your
alone.
front line people.
The brains of the
support,
operation.
the support staff.
Yeah.
Are you the captain of this crew?
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
And damn, I mean, considering the conversation you had with Danru before they left, for the time being, we've had some crew changes, but at the moment, for the time being.
Are you the captain? Yes.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
And what is your name, Captain?
Go by Cat.
Short. Easy to shout in a firefight.
Yep. And there's a billion of us.
Alright, roll me one more persuasion check. Just to see kind of the
Have
general...
advantage.
I was gonna say, can my like flexing my rig have given her advantage?
I will use
She wasn't lying at any point.
I give off the second he did that, the first thing that popped in my head was Danny going, I'll use my super strength to power stud my charisma. I was like, oh good god.
No, I'm picturing him letting the rig and everybody just kind of strikes a pose.
We are the Ginyu Force.
No. Everyone like magical girls in their armor.
Everybody, you know what? Everybody give me perception or give me persuasion checks.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
As you're just trying to leave the impression of we're tough.
Motherfucker, I'm rolling like shit.
No, you've already rolled yours.
Okay, good.
We're legit.
Or
we're
I'm
actual
sorry. It
pirates.
was never mind. It was Cat that rolled. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you got a 16. Okay.
Well, that's why I was asking if my flexing my rig would have given her advantage of some sort.
We're totally not
You.
stoolies.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would give her advantage. It would probably help to some degree. Everybody else rolled decent.
And in that regards, I actually go, well, if you're counting on capabilities, and also the drones kind of swarm around me.
Oh, Espers. She's actually looking at you, Hull, and Armanto. Oh, you have Espers. That's nice. That is
Got
very
another
nice.
back on the ship.
And with that, yeah, we'll give you the advantage. So that's a 23. So you have left her with a pretty good impersonation. Pretty good impression.
Impersonation is later.
Yes.
Back on the ship. Did you see her?
The hand you hadn't seen before comes up. She's got a heavy pistol. She sets it down. let's have a drink. She gestures to one of the boys, who goes over to the bar and asks you what you want. You've never thought of one of these barbarian types as being much of a bartender, but he seems to know what he's doing, mixing drinks. She's like, now I can't guarantee you work. I will pass along that you're interested. That I think you're capable of doing the work. You will meet up with, if you're approved, you'll meet up with one of the other captains, who will take you on a trial run. And if the trial run goes well, then you're in. And as this is going on, you'll get more details about how we operate. If the trial run goes well, then you'll get the details on how we operate, who exactly we are, who exactly who my friend is that I'm on the lookout for good help.
Of course, everything you understand.
Depending on whether they're home or out on a job at the moment, it may be a day, it may be a couple of days, or a few days rather, before I hear back.
We'll be here for a while.
So, yeah, just hang around the station. And I will contact you when I hear back from them.
Absolutely.
And then she offers a little toast to, future prosperity.
Absolutely.
There's a little team,
Aramanto is drinking the space version of a mimosa.
So you have your
Francis.
drinks. Oh, sorry, Francis. What?
And Francis takes a very small sip of a vodka.
It's good stuff. She clearly stocks her bar with top shelf product.
Seeing that no one else is dropped dead, Cat will drink whatever the hell she would.
In fairness, I'm immune to disease.
Gosh.
Disease is not poison, however,
I'm resistant.
but not immune. So you can get drunk. It just takes a lot.
Takes a lot more.
All right. Well, it's 9 o'clock, so we're gonna wrap up here. Basically, you have your drinks. You go back to the ship.
I
We'll-
keep the glass.
Just walking through the station with your glass and a tiny umbrella.
Just day drinking around on street with the mimosa.
Probably not that uncommon on this station, honestly.
Probably
The
not.
little umbrella makes it uncommon, but most of the folks walking around the station, it's paper bags.
Bullet.
What are they gonna do? Fight me?
Possibly.
There's some pretty big
Fight
dudes
them
on the
back.
station, But anyway, we will pick up next
has-
week.
He has a mimosa. For this, he must die.
Man walks down the street drinking a mimosa, middle of daylight with an umbrella. You don't mess with that man.
Clearly, he's looking for a fight.
He has sunglasses indoors. What do you expect?
So anyway, we'll pick up next week with you being contacted by one of the captains that she referred to, presumably from the Raiders. Let's see.
If not, well, guys, hey, we're pirates now. Daniel would be proud.
Or hanging his head in shame.
Would he though?
Off in the distance, you hear go, "Arr!"
Yeah,
Jim will be excited.
Jim would be proud of us. And really, if Jim is proud of us, that's all that matters.
Except Jim needs an alias. He's like, call me Midge.
Call
Just
me
Jim
H-Man
backwards.
Captain.
So anyway, be back next week when the crew takes up pirating. Tomorrow night should be the Wednesday night showcase, and hopefully we'll actually get started with the Big Eye Small Mouth game.
Should
We
be
had
doing
a
character
cancellation last week. Yeah, it should be character creation. Thursday should be Maddie's Curse of Strahd
Curse of
game,
Strahd.
where I'll be honest, I have no idea where they're at.
Yeah, it's wild. I've never played it before, so I don't know what's going on.
And then
Or
off
idea
for the
what it was
weekend,
done.
and back on Monday with Cap's
The escorts.
flagship show, I guess, the Escorts.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I've been your GM for the evening, Jason, and with me has been Sarah playing Cat, Eric playing Adrian, Decca playing Armato.
In most drinking extraordinaire.
Yes. Zach playing Francis, and Patrick playing Hull. And we will see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.